So, hello everyone. It's Russ Niles, editor-in-chief of AVBrief, and you see another familiar face on this screen. We're making our first, I don't know, staff announcement today. Larry Anglisano has graciously agreed to be the editor of Smart Aviator, but I think Smart Aviator is the perfect name for a feature that that deals entirely with the pilot owner and operator experience. We're going to get into new gear. We're going to do airplane reviews. We're going to talk about industry politics. It's going to be a great place for pilots to meet, and it's going to be refreshed every day. And look at all the promises I'm making. We intend to keep them. This is a whole new era for our little corner of aviation journalism. And the cool thing is we get to write the rules. What's rule number one, Larry?
Well, the rule number one in my book is to really keep doing what we're doing. And the way I see it, there's a real need for education when it comes to aircraft ownership, purchasing, upgrades, insurance, aeromedical. The list is long. I was on John Zimmerman's podcast over at Sporty's a couple months back, and we talked a half hour about all the problems we're faced with in this industry. The podcast is Pilot's Discretion. It's really engaging. If you haven't been there, go over and listen to John Zimmerman and some really good guests. But, you know, my head's been spinning from what we've seen in the industry the past couple of weeks. You know, when I look at AvBrief, look at what you've done here, Russ, people say, well, what's going on over there? And the only way I can describe what's going on over here at AvBrief is there's a movement, right? We've got uh, a movement that we've never seen before. At least I've never seen before. I've been doing this since I was a teenager and involved in aviation, and been involved in aviation journalism for over 30 years. And I've never seen an industry rally with what you've done here at AvBrief. And I think the moral of the story here is people, they want real aviation journalism. And, I've been sort of hanging my head in depression the last few months, or maybe even better part of a year, when I see a gradual decline of real investigative, technical aviation journalism. It's not just in this industry, we see it in other industries. I'm a bicyclist and a motorcyclist, and I'm in the music world, and it's this trend that we see, but we don't have to have that trend here in aviation as long as we've got um, journalists like us that are trying to hold this down. And I think that's the whole premise of what we're seeing in this movement is to hold down real solid aviation journalism as we know it. Um, that's a long answer to your short question, but what do you think, Russ? You've been doing this a long time too.
Well, yesterday we put out our fourth newsletter. The first one went out to 353 um, people, mostly in the industry. I combed through what was left of my contact list after the events of the previous week, and and sent it out to people I knew that cared about the industry. And it snowballed into almost 3,000 subscriptions in about a week. Now that's pretty cool. That's a lot of subscriptions, nearly enough. We need help to build our list so that we're a real strong force in the industry. We need 10 times that 3,000, and we'll get them. It'll just take some time. And the other thing is the absolute who's who list of aviation journalists who have asked if they can help. They saw what was happening to their industry, and everybody wants to hang on to their jobs. Um, so they're not in a position to really protest the way that their owners and their owners are dictating the way that they operate through budget cuts or whatever. I mean, we saw it firsthand for a while. Mercifully, the decision was made for me. It's a really tough decision to resign your position and go with something that is untested and untried. And Larry, I just give you full props for having the courage to join this, as you say, movement to try and steer us away from this AI dominated landscape that really is not going to serve um, people involved in aviation.
No, I don't think it's going to either. And you know, listen, it's important to stress that we realize, we're not eyes closed here. We know AI is not going away, and there's a lot of good uses for AI. We use it every day, whether we know it or not. But if I look at how we report and what our jobs are, what my job has been for a lot of years, and that's giving honest advice based on experience, right? It's based on flying. It's based on what I've seen on the shop level for a lot of years. It's based on what I see from manufacturers and owners sort of, you know, stepping in crap when they buy a crappy airplane. And there's just so much advice to give, and that's what I do. That's what I like to do. That's the sort of the reason for my success is helping people. And and there's still a lot of help to give. I mean, there's folks buying airplanes that are losing their shirts, and I don't want to see that happen. I like giving advice, and AI is not the way to give trusted advice. I'm not sure what else to say when it comes to this whole AI thing, but yeah, we got to embrace it, but we also have to be voices in this industry, and that's what I want to continue to do, and I want to continue to help people. And it's important to stress that this whole movement we've seen, and we're all volunteers, right? Everybody has come together to sort of save, I think, the world of investigative, uh, uh, deep diving, technical reporting. And
We've probably run retail value $10,000 worth of freelance contributions in the last four issues and haven't spent a dime on them, which is good because we haven't collected a dime yet.
oh,
We're
no,
running this completely as volunteers until we have something to sell. And we're pretty close to that. I think we have something to sell now. The numbers on the click-throughs and everything for our site are nothing short of incredible. Another important piece of news is we will no longer be avbrief.org. We got .com, so it'll be avbrief.com from here on in. Everything is being changed in the background, including email addresses. But we had to
okay.
get started with something. It was a negotiation process to get avbrief.com.
Mhm.
And it all came down to money, and we paid it. So
Okay.
so there's been some outgo, no income, um, and that will have to change. And we plan on starting to change that this week. So anybody who's benefiting from the free ads that we've been running for the last couple of weeks, it's time to line up and help support real meaningful change in a really meaningful reversion to the old standards in aviation journalism. We're not going to let you down. We've got millions of ideas and lots of stuff to cover.
I think I know what the industry needs. It needs what we've always done, and that's offer solid advice, buying advice, upgrade advice, you name it. There's a lot to talk about, and every day there's new stuff that's troubling. Just saw that release from Pilatus where they're halting all what PC-12s and 24s coming into the U.S. because of tariffs. What's the number? Big number, isn't it?
Well, 40% of their sales are
Yeah.
to the US. So they just lost half their market um, to tariffs. Regardless of what you might say about the value or peril of tariffs, 40% is 40%, and that's what Pilatus, not one of the most respected names in the industry, that's what they're feeling. Can they
Yeah.
survive it? Probably. They've got other businesses, and what a lot of people don't know is that even though it's got Beechcraft on the nameplate, the U.S. Air Force trainer is actually a derivative of a Pilatus
Yep.
aircraft. They rule the military training market pretty much. So
Yeah.
yeah, there's all that kind of stuff and all that kind of knowledge that Larry and I have accumulated over the years that that we can put into making this the best product that we think we can. And we're going to have lots of help.
And there's a lot of advice to give. And, we're seeing new products in the avionics market that, they're going to need an explanation. They're going to need some counseling there. Like I said, there's a,
Acquisition,
yeah,
Delta Hawk's got its launch customer, so we'll be delving into that. Air Avionics was bought by Mid-Continent. We need to look at that and what it means for air avionics customers for mid-continent customers. So it's the
and
kind of stuff that we're going to do, and we're going to add some features.
I think, a lot of folks have said, well, you should do a podcast and, do maybe a weekly or a bi-weekly show and talk to some of the industry folks and talk these things out, right? Talk about these problems. And if the audience wants to see it, I'll certainly do it. So, like I said, there's a lot to do.
Well, and I'm toying with something that hasn't been done before that I'm aware of. I think through the power of Zoom, we can do a call-in show where people we'll get a hot guest, somebody who really knows his or her segment of the industry, and people can ask questions themselves about whatever it is um, their their expertise lends, right? I don't think I've ever seen a call-in show on online, so it can't be that hard. So he said, we'll give it a go.
Figure it out. But anyway, thanks for the discussion, Russ. Thanks for doing what you did and pulling the industry together here.
Larry, I want to thank you for having the courage to quit a steady job, a job that you've had for 30 years, and take a leap of faith in something new that's kind of old. That and it's all about stuff that we both believe in a lot, and we're hoping to be able to deliver it to our audience for a long time to come.
There is a younger audience that we need to reach out to and make sure they make the right buying decisions. I mean, there's so many examples. I mean, I saw a young guy had a good job, bought a Mooney sight unseen, and no matter how much I warned him to not buy this Mooney sight unseen and look this thing over good, he was smitten by a paint job that looked good from a distance, and bought this J model Mooney and brought it home and basically lost everything he had saved. Um, Lost his house, lost his future wife, all because he sunk, I don't know, something like 150, $200,000 into this Mooney. He bought something that was really wasn't even worth salvage value. And so those are sad stories. They don't happen that often, but there are some sad stories about people buying airplanes that are spending way more than they planned, and it really sours the buying experience. And I don't want to see that happen.